Just like the sunrise needs the sky, just like the blackbird needs to fly. I gotta have you by my side, 'cause you make me feel alright. I know some people play it cool, but baby, I ain't that kind of fool. When I'm with you, girl, there ain't no rules, 'cause you make me feel alright. I thank my lucky stars that life turned out this way. No matter where we are, I know this love is here to stay. Well, I've seen good times and I've seen bad. There've been some happy, there've been some sad, but you're the best thing I ever had, 'cause you make me feel alright.
Hey, 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 hi. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Zen Hoodie. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm going to run my intro right quick. We're going to talk about some breaking news. And then I'm going to give a trigger warning, and we're going to talk about some people. We're going to talk about people and their actions, and I'm going to give my my opinion. So hang in for that. I'll be right back. Hey, AMAC, talking smack, member for 23 months. Aw, bless your heart, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to give you this. Thank you for being a member for so long. I appreciate it. Hey, Yankee Kyle. Hi, honey. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear earlier, baby. I apologize for that. Zen, member for 8 months from area 51 and a half. 51 and a half. Let's do this.
See what I did?
You so totally rock, Squirt! So give me some fin. Noggin. Dude.
Yes, superstar. Sometimes when I'm nervous, and Zen, love you. Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen. How are you, babe? Who else is here? Oh, Patricia. I said hi. Oki was in earlier. So thank you for stopping by. And I got to go here to do this because YouTube is stupid. YouTube is stupid. It's beginning of the month. So I have some free memberships to give away. And I'm actually going to be doing a members live. We're going to be doing some, what are they called? Oh, oh God, I hate it when I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. There we go. I'm going to be doing some affirmation cards. So I'm going to send out five gift memberships. Ta-da! Queen Bella got one. Remy. Guilty of Crime. Hey, generally Jenny. Yay, Ludicrous. I love that name. Ludicrous. That is too cool. Okay, so sorry, I try to go live. I've been trying for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay. And Monday I went to pick up Sir Thomas Sockington's ashes. And the funeral home was actually pretty cool. They cut off a piece of his fur and put it in a little baggie, and that means the world to me. So that was 13 hours of my Monday. And then yesterday I was just so tired. So tired. So I said, well, nobody really cares if I'm live or not. Okay. Most of my people are on replay. Thank you guys. If you're on replay, please remember to like, subscribe if you're not, hype it if you can, and set that bell to all for future notifications. Yeah, keep my ears open. Yeah, baby. I understand that. But anyway, so how's it been going? Guys? Did everybody vote yesterday here in the United States? It was Super Tuesday. We had a gubernatorial race here in Virginia. And we got our first female governor. Don't ask me why they call it gubernatorial, because there's no B in the word governor, but okay, whatever. So I went out and voted yesterday, and that was excited, and I like to find out who's winning, and they do those exit polls, right? Basically people standing outside the voting places, and they say, hey, who'd you vote for? And those I don't mind, because I know that they're doing a statistics thing, and exit polls say that so-and-so is ahead and blah, blah, blah. But what bothers me is, AMAC, you're too good to me, baby. Thank you. Love the bear pic. Oh, the Huggy Bear, Grandma Hug? Yeah. Oh, Good Nun, you got one. Woohoo. And Anonymous got one. Who else? Tia-Decipher, Opal, and LG. Welcome. AMAC, you get this again. And everybody else who got memberships tonight, welcome. Big grandma hug. Welcome. Hey, Christy F. Hi, honey. Welcome. Yes. So, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that, honey. Okay, so I don't mind the people, in the exit polls, because it's statistics, and they say, well, out of all the people we talked to, this is who they voted for. So you kind of get an idea of who's winning. What I don't like is when, like, friends, or for instance, okay, after I voted, I stopped by Food Lion, wanted to get some chicky tendies, and they didn't have any, of course. But anyway, I did buy some other stuff, and the cashier saw my sticker. Little flag says I voted. And she goes, oh, who did you vote for? I don't know her from anybody. And I looked at her, and, I just smiled, and she got uncomfortable. And I really, what was going through my head? Snark was going through my head, is what happened. I really wanted to tell her, I haven't had sex in about 5 years, because honestly, if I don't know you and you're asking me about who I'm voting for, that's kind of personal to me. And so I just equated that with somebody saying, "Hey, when's the last time you had sex?" So, neener, guys. No. No. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm doing good, honey. Christy, how you doing? How you doing? Okay. YouTube updates. Did you know that for iPhone users, if you X out of the live chat over by that like button that I'm hoping you're hitting, there's actually a join button for iPhone users. I know that I'm a mod on 867 different channels. And so we always had to do this iPhone link, which is basically the channel/join, for iPhone users. And it would pretty much take you to a website, the YouTube website. But anyway, so you can actually join by the like button now. And depending on how far YouTube's head is up there, don't say that, girl. Depending on where YouTube is in its sorting out its algorithm, sometimes you can actually see it even by the super chat in some streams. And of course, mine is not. But anyway, yeah, so that's exciting news. Woohoo! Woohoo! Oh, okay. I want to complain about the government for a minute, since we were talking about voting and all that stuff. I don't know if y'all ever had to deal with anything governmentally in the United States, but here's the thing. Yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah, okay. So yesterday I get this thing in the mail. I'm like, yay, and it came from, I don't know, 10 or 15 miles away. The 10 or 15 miles away person postmarked it or put it in the mail, put the stamp and all that stuff on Friday. So Friday, they kind of work Saturday, they work Monday. I get it Tuesday, right? But and this is they could have walked it here within that time, but I'm in Virginia. The postmark on this thing, so it went from 10 or 15 miles away down to North Carolina to be sorted and postmarked, and then back up here. What the heck? That's not efficient in my thinking. What do you guys think? Just sounds like a regular government thing. Down to North Carolina, back here. My God. I'm still working on my disability stuff. I did get a lawyer. Woo, not asking for any lawyer funds. Thank you very much. But so I get a call from my lawyer today, and they say, we got a letter from Social Security saying that you don't have an application for disability. She says, when did you put it in? I said, I don't know, June of 2023. And she goes, June of 2025. I said, no, June of 2023. And she goes, 2 years ago. I said, yeah. I said, I got the number if you need it. So I give it to her, and she goes, I'm going to have to call. I'll call you back. I'm like, okay. So then, 3 hours later, she calls me back and she says, okay, they found it. You do have an application for disability. The reason I got a lawyer is because they denied me. Oh, okay, Kyle, I'll go look at it, honey. So they denied me. So I called and I got a lawyer, and I, put the lawyer name down. Made me feel so official. So official. I have a lawyer. But anyway, so she calls back and she says, yeah, they found it. And, but because of the office it's in, they're going to have to transfer it to a local office, and then they're going to have to process that. So I'll probably give you a call back in about 3 weeks. Friggin' government. This is federal Social Security. I know that they have, all the little outposts and all the little offices everywhere. But you would think that the major thing, that all these little offices and stuff would be connected to some big social security thing. No. Government. Oh my God. Of course they found it. No, I'm going to stay on them. I've heard it takes 3 times to be denied, or 2 denied, third is to go with an attorney. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, the first time they denied it, I got the attorney because, according to the website, they didn't do anything with it for like 2 years. And they finally started doing something with it. And then, like on a Friday, it said, oh, we're going to transfer this up to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. If that sounds familiar, that's where the IRS stuff goes. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, for a review and a decision. I'm like, cool, this is a Friday. Woo. So Tuesday, I logged back into the website just to make sure it was in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And so according to the website, they got it on Friday. That Monday, they denied it. Then I got my letter. Tell me they had time to review that. Tell me they had time to review that and deny it. No, I'm just, so angry. Hey, Mustang. Hi, honey. You'd think their computer systems were connected. No, they're not. And that's the problem with missing kids. And the Department of Child and Family Services and whatnot, they're not connected either. That's what happened with Harmony Montgomery, is because it went from state to state and the states weren't communicating properly. So Harmony kind of got lost in the system there. They're working on that. I heard something called NEACE. But anyway, yeah. So, and I'm not, okay. I believe that one big database would be a great idea. It just makes sense. But I don't want the Palantir like database where everybody in the world is in one big database and they have all of our biometric information and our digital ID, and anybody who hacks into that thing can get a hold of our stuff. No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, what else? Oh, it's a full moon. Happy full moon, guys. It's full moon energy. So we're all going to go outside and howl at the moon later. And just as a reminder, this is a time to get rid of stuff. Good time to do all the charging of the crystals and all that stuff. But if you do intentions, this is the time to give it away, because from now on, the moon is going to be waning, or it's going to be dying. Okay, and so as it dies, it takes its stuff and buries it somewhere on the other side of the moon. LTWHXOXOPJ. Oh my God, lighting the way home. XOXOPJ. Hi, honey. And it took me a while to get who you were because we're at that thing. Yes, clean. That's right, Zen. It's time to clean. Get rid of it. Let it go. Anyway, so yep, full moon energy. Give it stuff to get rid of it. Clean it up out of your life. Alrighty. I don't know if you follow Turtle Boy. He was big in the Karen Reed case. And a lot of people credit him for Karen Reed going free because he was down to calling out corruption in the police department. Oh, it's a full moon, honey. It's a full moon. No. No what? No, it's not retrograde. Oh, no, Turtle Boy. You know who he is. Okay. Oh, God, Turtle Boy. Yes. Well, anyway, talk about lawsuits. Turtle Boy has a bunch of, he was arrested for witness intimidation. And let me see where I am here. Let me go here. Oh, you can't see that. But You remember the name Federer, right? From the Karen Reed trial? Yes, yes. So, Turtle Boy had a court hearing today. Somebody was trying to put a restraining order against him. Does that sound familiar? Restraining order. Yeah, he has a lot of lawsuits. Yes. And like I said, he was arrested, spent 60 days for witness intimidation. Anywho, I just thought this was interesting because Bettero posted on excrement. After a full evidentiary hearing this afternoon in the Passaic County, New Jersey Superior Court, the temporary protective order issued against Aidan Carney in connection with his alleged cyber harassment and stalking of an individual regarding T-shirt sales has been vacated. The court refuses to issue a final protective order after it heard argument on my motion to dismiss. The court correctly ruled that the plaintiff did not establish any predicate offense warranting a protective order had been satisfied. Even at the low preponderance of the evidence burden, the matter is over and has been resolved in an entirely favorable manner for Dr. Turtleboy. So, kind of interesting that maybe the courts are going, guys, it's words, man. It's words. We're restraining order on those eyebrows. Yes, Mustang. He will harass anyone, so he probably is guilty, allegedly, in my opinion. Yeah, but it comes down to a freedom of speech thing, too. You know, because if we lose all of our freedom of speech, then we can't speak out against government corruption. We can't speak out against, sex trafficking. Basically, we won't be able to speak out against anything because somebody's going to say, "Oh, you're cyber harassing me." So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Interesting. Now, I don't know where you guys spend your time, but looking for something, looking for it. Here we go. Okay. I'm assuming that most people are spending most of their time watching YouTube drama. He wrote an article about it. Yeah. You love protests. I know you do. You've been doing those Portland protests, which are kind of cool. I love watching people, that are furries or dressed up as frogs and stuff out there protesting. And, I love that. You think it's wrong? Let them know. Allegedly, and you know me, royal family, squirrel. Allegedly, King Charles removed Andrew. He's not Prince Andrew anymore. Removed Andrew's honors titles and everything because someone heckled him in a crowd. I don't know. But, dissenting voices are always a good thing. Peekaboo green. Hi, honey. Okay, so if you've been watching YouTube drama all day, I've got some breaking news for you. Breaking news. Now, in case you haven't heard, yesterday, a UPS plane crashed. It was headed from Louisville, Kentucky to Hawaii. And it got about 175 feet. It lifted off, got about 175 feet, and then it started to come down. Hang on just a second. See if I can do this big for you. Oh, that was big. Okay, here we go. This is video. This is a dash cam, right? He's just sitting in his truck. This is in a place not too far from the end of the runway. Absolutely appropriate reaction, if you ask me. Look how close this guy is. If that wasn't a guardian angel protecting him, I don't know what is. So here's the thing. Boo. All right. See the planes coming down? It's kind of on the side here. Yeah. So I watched the press conference for it today. Oh, you told your husband about it? Yeah. Someone was looking out for him. That's for sure. For sure. Yeah. Scary, scary. But so like I said, they're still investigating. So the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, is out there. Of course, the FBI is out there. They had first responders working all night long to put out those flames, because that thing, when it crashed, was at the end of the runway, and it slid into a couple businesses that backed up to the runway. So there were 3 crew members on the UPS flight. Let me get rid of me. There. Live news. So there were 3 crew members on the flight. 8 others from the building struck. So there are 9 people dead, confirmed dead right now. I haven't checked in the last hour. 9 people confirmed dead. 11 are in the hospital. 2 are critical. And the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, said today that there are 16 different families that reported loved ones unaccounted for. $16 unaccounted for. So, bear with me just a second here. I watched the press conference on Agenda Free TV because I like Steve Luckner. But there's a press conference for it. Doesn't give much more information other than what I just gave you. They said the blaze is contained. The original first responders are now resting. They were able to change shifts. And they have people that are still staying out there watching hotspots to make sure nothing else happens. They will be going back. They said they've changed it from a rescue mission to a recovery mission, because they're just recovering bodies now. So if you keep those guys in your prayers, that would be great. So the next thing I have for you, some fun stuff before we get into our trigger warning, is, oh gosh, I hate that. Oh, fine, whatever. Okay. Did you know what the Louvre Museum is, right? The Louvre in Paris. That's actually, it was in that Dan Brown book and the movies, The Da Vinci Code, in case you never heard of it before that. And I think it had something to do in Ocean's 11 too. But check this out. Okay, so on the 15th of October, the Louvre Museum was robbed. Like, hello? It was robbed. Let me see if I can make this full screen. Does that work? Cinema layout? Yes. Okay. So here's the fun thing about this, okay? There are like 5 or 6 guys that dressed up like workers. They were in yellow. They went in the morning. This was on a Sunday. Kind of slow time for the Louvre. People really not going in to look at the Mona Lisa and stuff. And so and this is kind of outpouring of it. How pretty, right? So that was that was fast. How fast is this? Oh, it's normal. Let's go here. Let's go here. Because basically, these guys dressed up like workers put this crane, like this big ladder thing, up onto a second floor window They got off onto the balcony. They used a blowtorch and a chainsaw to open the doors. And then they got inside. Look, and this is like one of the heaviest guarded places in Paris. They don't mess around. So there it is. Did you see it? That's too fast, and that's 75 too. But anyway, let's go here. So within 7 minutes, what am I looking for? 3 minutes, 10 seconds. And I'll drop this for you guys so you can watch the whole thing. Ready? Okay. This is the heist. So they get this crane thing. And then they crawl up on this balcony. They break into the doors. There's an actual picture of the crane ladder that they used. They break in the doors. And the weird thing was, this is like 9:30 on a Sunday. Oh, there we go. 9:30. The police time was slower because, nothing happens on Sunday at 9:30. There were people inside the museum, but it wasn't crazy. But anyway, they come in and they start smashing these little cabinet things that they have here. And this is from a channel called Zoufree. They stole $102 million in jewelry. They stole a tiara, a brooch, and a crown that belonged to Empress Eugenie, who's the wife of Napoleon III. This is from a tourist, actual footage from a tourist inside. And other jewels of equal value. They stole a bunch of stuff. Look at this. Smash and grab. Talk about cojones of steel. Okay, and here's the security at the Louvre was like, okay, everybody out. We're just going to evacuate it. Bye-bye. They got people. They sent them out to safety. Nobody really knew what was going on. Here we go. But here's actual video of them escaping. Exactly like Ocean's 11. Exactly. So this is how they got away. People outside going, well, that's weird. They probably heard the alarms and stuff going off in the loop. And then they got away on scooters. Why? Because it's hella traffic. It's hella traffic through there. Funny. In case you didn't know about that. But what I thought was like super fun is that today there was this breaking news. The security, that the internet security that does all their video surveillance cameras, their alarm systems and everything sucked. It was bad. It said that the Louvre was running off of like a Windows Server 2003 and programs from the early 2000s that were no longer supported. Outdated software. You ready for the kicker on this one? The password to that security system was stolen. Can you guess what it was? The password was Louvre. Louvre, the name of the museum. Why not do password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation point? Jeez Louise. You're surprised with AI. Yeah, but obviously you have to be willing. You have to be willing to update yourself. Well, on 34 minutes. Okay. Anybody seen the Erica Kirk and JD Vance video that people are like smacking their jaws about? Oops, wrong. Here we go. Lit up social media. It's the thing. His hands over here. She had her hands in his hair. People freaking out over that. What else? Oh, okay. So the United States is about to attack Venezuela. You've probably heard that our president has blown up some boats, like, racing speedboats, drug cartel, drugs being brought into the United States. Oh my. That's why we're doing that. Obviously, the leader over there is corrupt and horrible and nasty and everything. Oh, here we go. So the leader over there, his name is Maduro, which to me kind of sounds like, I don't know, sunscreen or something. So they're on high alert because they know that President Trump has put a bunch of our gunships from the Navy and submarines right off the Venezuela. Right now, the United States has the capacity of firing over 1,100 Tomahawk missiles simultaneously. 1,100 Tomahawk missiles simultaneously. So, Maduro, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the iPhone craze, people would say, oh, there's an app for that. Well, Maduro, fearing U.S. attack, promotes an app to report suspect behavior. Oh, geez, stop it. Stop it. Caracas, Venezuela. Faced with the prospect of armed conflict with the United States, Venezuela's government seems to be encouraging citizens to spy on each other by using a revamped mobile application to report suspicious people or activity. Getting closer and closer. It's called VenApp. Originally launched by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in 2022 as a hybrid application integrating a messaging service with a helpline for people to report issues with utility services such as power outages and water disruptions. Now it's being used as a tool for Venezuelans to inform the government of anything that it might consider seditious or disloyal, raising alarm among Maduro opponents and human rights groups about a possible surge in political detentions, people being arrested. So that's exciting. And other breaking news is that, do you think we're going to go to war with Nigeria? Anybody heard anything about Nigeria? Because Hegseth, who is our Department of War leader, has heard about factions in Nigeria that have been killing Christians. Now, this isn't a new thing, but I guess it's kind of new to Hegseth. And so our president is thinking about going to war with Nigeria. Why does it say war all over the place? Why? Well, in Venezuela, I don't believe it's drugs. I believe it's oil. Because U.S. companies have wanted to drill off of Venezuela for the longest time. They have the largest deposit of oil outside of the Middle East. Drugs? Poisoning Americans? Or oil? I'm going with oil. Nigeria, not so much. But if the United States is actually in a war, we know that war is profitable. Proxy wars like Israel and Ukraine and stuff, those aren't so much. But all-out war. I thought the church and state aren't supposed to be connected. It seems to be mixed dilemma, everything. Yeah, PJ. Yeah. A lot of stuff mixed. I mean, they can't tell us what to worship or how here in the United States according to our Constitution. But I don't really know the whole thing. I've just been seeing these things saying, is America going to war with Nigeria? And this, let me stop this. And let me give you this. Let's just take a quick breather, shall we?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
And maybe this. The streets are on fire. Insanity. Almost time to make a new country somewhere. I've heard so many people talking about moving. Well, hey, Okie. Hi, honey. Well, like Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres, whatever her last name is. They all moved over to like Scotland and England. Great place for you guys. And then, I mean, I think even Jamal was talking about moving to Canada, because our country crazy, guys. It's all crazy. So, give y'all a trigger warning. And if you want, I am more than happy to drop a link and you can come up and argue with me or come up and discuss things. But anyway, because I'm a little salty today. I've been salty. I'm getting saltier the more I see. You know me, I'm team everyone sucks. Because I see the flaws in other people's. And I also try to see the good thing in other people's. And it's really, and I don't know if Zen's still here or not, but did you see the 60 Minutes interview with ... Waiting, Patricia. Anyway, Trump. No, I didn't, honey. No, I sure didn't. I can only handle so much crap at a time. And I'm going to be honest with you. Since I lost Tom last week, I've been grieving. He felt like my last emotional support guy, But anyway, so, I see what's going on and, I've been following the Lauren hidden true crime thing and following the Brittany J stuff and the arguments that creators have with one another and the whataboutisms, and the things where, well, I didn't do this until you did that, right? And then just even amongst my friends, I've come to the conclusion that people don't seem to give a shit about each other anymore. Seems like we're all just affected with main character syndrome. And I hear it in conversations. There's one thing, to be talking about something and then somebody at appropriate time will interject something where they can relate. Yeah, well, my cousin's next door neighbor's girlfriend's cat died last week too, whatever, But what I see is that conversations don't go that way anymore. Conversations seem to go toward something more along the lines of, yeah, that's terrible, but let me tell you about me. How horrible I have. Like victimhood is a wonderful thing. We're just going to celebrate it. And if we're not celebrating my victimhood, then we're just going to keep going lower and lower and lower. And I just, I was thinking, we're in the gutter. How far can we go? How much lower can we go? And then this little voice inside my heart said, you can go to that storm drain that Pennywise lives in. From the movie It. Yeah, it goes lower than the gutter, guys. It goes lower than the gutter. And I saw this the other day in a chat. I think it was generally Jenny. She's usually pretty wise about these things. But she put, deep minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. And I'm adding one here, that vile minds discuss bodily functions and sexual bits. It's not bad enough to just, be gossipy. And that's one of the things I like. Drama. Fake or real, equals subs and views. Yes, exactly, Mustang. It's been that thing in journalism forever. If it bleeds, it leads. Whether it was, newspapers or whether it was TV news or whatever. If it bleeds, it leads. The more salacious, the more gross the idea to get you to click in, because it's like watching a car wreck. You slow down at the car wreck. See what happened. See if there's any blood. Because that's just where things go. But I just see people have dehumanized each other. And like I said, I'm team everyone sucks. I see the good, I see the bad. What's really pissing me off is that when they're talking and they're judging and they have their superior attitudes about these other people and what this other person should be doing, or how this other person should be cleaning their home, or how this other person is parenting, or whatever the thing may be. They're judging. And I'm telling you, for those of you who sit in those chats with the other 1,000 people day after day after day, and it could be anywhere from 100 to 300 to 1,000 to 2,000 people, when you sit there and you listen to these things, your hands are not clean. Your hands are not clean. These people say horrible things about everybody else. But when the same thing happens to them, somebody claps back or somebody reviews back or something, it's like, I can do this, but then I get hurt when you do it to me. I get hurt when you do it to me. Saying you're an asshole with an opinion or an asshole with a mic, it's not enough to balance the no real humility, and you're really not open-minded. I hate when people say how to parent, how to clean, etc., because all are different and all have something going on. If I'm depressed one day, I may wait to fold my clothes. Oh, well. And every kid needs different parenting. Exactly. Exactly. It's one thing to give a harsh opinion. That you're giving out incorrect information and it's hurting the families. It's a totally different thing to talk shit about families or parents. Both sides in Delphi, both groups have attacked each other, then play victim. Yep. Exactly. And that's a really divided community. People who think Richard Allen is innocent and people that think that Richard Allen is guilty and that the police did everything great, whatever. But the thing is, we can't just disagree. And we definitely don't encounter one another to have discussions about it. About, these are my opinions. This is the research that I've done. These are the facts that I have. And this is how I came to my conclusion, my belief. We don't do that anymore. There's no humility anymore. All I see is vanity. Vanity. People who won't even admit that they're wrong. I watch some creators, and they might say some shit about somebody, some other creator or whatever, but there's also things they appreciate, and they say those things, or they say, I can understand where this might have happened. I'm not naming names because, honest to God, there is such a huge spectrum of these people. You don't partake in many chats, and you've unsubbed from a lot of channels. A lot of it affects my mental health. Exactly. You got to protect your mental health. Hubris. Do you know what that word is? Hubris? It's arrogance. It's pride. It's the way some people, when they're on a rant about something, and they're talking down to you, like you're being scolded, or this is a big Harvard lecture kind of thing. And here's the bit with that. Here's the bit with that. If somebody goes into those chats and they disagree, or maybe they're trying to point out a nuance or something that may be taken into consideration before these things are happening, before these things are being said, before the hurtful words are spewed, and then those persons are blocked. And if you've ever been blocked, then welcome to the open-minded places. Welcome to the speaking truth places. We can all get through the hurt. But here's the thing. And I did this in my shadow work series. You need to stop and say, why does that make me angry? Or why did that hurt me? Stop and think about it. Is there truth? Is it something I can change that would better myself and better the community? And sometimes we beat ourselves up. It's all my fault. I'm being unreasonable. I'm being an asshole, whatever the case may be. And sometimes when you do that introspection, when you stop and look at everything, you step back, you realize the negative feelings you have about yourself could be wrong. Unsub from a lot of channels also. Yeah. But here's the thing. And then we have sides. Like we were talking about the Delphi sides. We have the sides. You choose our side or their side. And I've always said this isn't a football game. You don't have to choose your favorite team. But here's the thing. It's gotten worse than that. It's gotten worse than that. And you can even see it across the United States, where Democrats are calling Republicans Nazis and fascists, and Republicans are calling Democrats, I don't even know the names, whatever. But the point is, there's a word for that. It's called xenophobia. Xenophobia means fear of strangers. if you're not just like me, then they fear them. Hey, Steph. Oh, be careful driving, honey. Be careful driving. If you're not just like me, then I need to fear you. I need to push you away. I need to protect myself from you. That's what it boils down to. And everybody is hurt by the gossip and judgment. Like I said, I'm a mod on 867 different channels. And so I see chat. I watch chat more than I listen to people on panels. Because, I want to make sure that it's not getting crazy. And, that, the nasty things are deleted, or to drop the, hey, make sure you like, by the way, like, subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications. You say it all the time in your lives. We need to stop being so divided and unite. This world is divided. And it's 2025. It shouldn't be that way. We know better. No, we don't. PJ, I'm going to have to disagree with you. We don't know better. And I honestly believe that our spirit man knows better. Our spirit man knows better. There's a gut feeling. It's a gut punch of intuition that we have when something's wrong. And then because we so desperately want to be accepted by a group, we want that person to say hi to us, and we don't want people to be talking shit about us from a panel. We kind of ignore it. We don't know better, but a small amount of us do. They do. And PJ, I honestly believe that the people that hang out here at the Burrow and listen to me rant and talk about weird shit and all that stuff, you guys are the people that want the best. You want the best in society. You want the best in chats. We're not the people that hate. If somebody from like the other side comes in here, they're welcome. Everybody's welcome. Just be respectful to one another. My thing is, be the reason somebody else smiles today. It's gotten so bad. Hey, Pookie. It's gotten so bad. It's like people are indoctrinated. They're indoctrinated. They want to belong so bad. They're indoctrinated. A lot of chats or groupthink. Echo chambers. Hi, Yaya. Yeah. The sad thing is a lot of people don't even go elsewhere to see the other side. To see the other side of the coin. To see if maybe all the information that they're consuming is correct. I've seen so many people in chat say, yeah, I was doxxed, or so-and-so did this to me, or they were hurt somehow. And it's rampant. It's everywhere. I mean, I hear that the knitting community is horrible. They're just vicious. Hi, Bella. Sweetheart, how are you? I look at this, and I told you guys I was going to talk to you about religion. And here's where this comes in. Because a lot of these channels are like religion. I'm not talking about faith. I'm not talking about spirituality. I'm talking about religion. Because religions are structures of organizations that men, maybe there's some women up in there too, but I'm just going to humans, brought together to control people and to cause dependence upon them. A long time ago, when the earth was green and Romans ruled most of the world, there's a little group in the Middle East, quasi-religion, little group in the Middle East, started believing on this guy named Jesus. And they were kind of Jewish adjacent because, they were all Jewish, but this Jesus guy kind of brought this new way of thinking, and so they weren't causing a whole lot of problems, but the Romans Caesar saw that they were growing. Wow, there's a bunch of people believing on this stuff. So what did they do? Political Roman Catholic Church. Catholic, by the way, is a word that means universal. Did you know that? The word Catholic just means universal. Everybody's the same. So what happened for thousands of years is that these church gatherings, and I'm not going to go into the whole taking the pagan thing and kind of, painting it over and giving it a little varnish, making it look Christian. Not going to go into all that. But what I am going to tell you is that the Catholic Church, and this happened when I was in Catholic school, going to Catholic Mass in the 60s, and Vatican II happened right about the same time. But anyway, it used to be that every Mass was done in Latin. Why? People don't know how to speak Latin. I mean, some people do, right? But most, like my mom and dad, my neighbors, me, I don't speak Latin. So the whole church service thing was done in Latin. And then we had the program that told us when to sit, when to stand, when to kneel, what to sing, all of that stuff. They told us everything we were supposed to do to be good, to be a good Catholic, to be good spiritually, to be fine. And then before the printing press, used to be Eastern Orthodox until the 14th or 15th century. Yeah, but see, the whole thing is, it's religion. It's, wear this, don't eat that, don't do this on this time. It's control is what it is. A lot of people before the printing press couldn't read. So they had to rely upon somebody like, a preacher or a priest or, their duke or whatever in their village to read to them, to let them know what's going on. They needed people to say, that said, you need me to clarify these things for you. Like there needed to be an intermediary between you and God. And usually within those things, you had to do something. You had to sacrifice part of yourself in order to belong. Think of circumcision or tithing. You have to give the church 10% of what you earn in order to belong. In order to keep yourself part of our tribe, part of our community, in good standing. And this could translate into anything. Anything. I'm just giving you an example of what a religion is, and I want you to equate that to certain creators in their communities, where you have to give up your critical thinking or your differing opinion in order to be there. Otherwise, you're blocked. Or worse, they say bad things about you from panel. Sometimes there are several people that get together to say bad things about somebody else, to drag them down. And what that reminds me of is satanic panic, where everything was a demon, everything was satanic. Now, I honestly believe that there are cults out there that do satanic rituals, that try to influence things for evil in the spiritual realm. But it was so bad during Satanic Panic that if if a guy was wearing an earring and had his hair too long, he was a Satanist. Oh my God. It was like the witch trial said, she's a witch. There's a demon under every rock. That's what these places feel like. Recently it's been Brittany J. Brittany J's been the demon. And of course, if you watch Brittany J, the people coming at her are the demons. But the point is, there's this divide. There's a divide. I always say, you can have your steak, eat the steak, spit out the bone. Everybody's not completely bad, and nobody is completely good. False attacks with no receipts. It's sad. It hurts. There's real people behind the avatars. Yeah, I was saying that earlier, Bella. Is that we've lost the focus that we're all people. We all bleed red. Everybody poops. Unless you're really constipated, then that's something to talk with your doctor about. But we all have the same thing. We're all breathing. Most of us get colds. We have snotty noses. There's no real difference between us as people. Everybody, well, I kind of question some of them, but everybody that I've watched, that I've followed, has had bad things said about them or had people lie about them, and that hurts. And then when it boomerangs back on the person that was saying it and they get hurt, it's all the same, guys. We've dehumanized everyone. We've dehumanized everyone. And it's because of the xenophobia. It's because the fear of the other, the fear of the strangers. We have to protect ourselves. And I tell you, every time I come live, I am not looking for everybody to kumbaya, skip through the field of flowers holding hands, braiding each other's hair. I'm not looking for that. What I'm looking for is for people to stop being vile and vicious. If you could see in the spiritual realm what some of these souls look like, and no, I don't have some psychic ability that allows me to do that, okay? But I can imagine it because I've experienced it. And you see somebody that has so many open bleeding wounds. Some are infected. Some emotional wounds are infected. We're trying our best to heal. We don't have to like someone to be, hi, Bobby. I attempt to make a conscious effort to think before I speak or decide if my thought is even necessary to share or bother others. I truly don't ever want to hurt others. That's not ever my intention. Well, and that's just it, baby. That what I see is people that find the softest, the weakest part, and they'll hit at it over and over and over again intentionally. I regrettably have hurt others, those I attempt to grow a more connected relationship with, even trying to be careful and gentle. Don't we all, though, sweetheart? And that's what I'm saying. Everyone sucks. Everyone has flaws, but everyone has wonderful things about them too. wonderful things about them. Two things can be true at the same time. And, I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of listeners because I know a lot of the stuff I talk about is deep, it's spiritual. It's for the people who are willing to look into the heart, who are willing to change, who are willing to embrace. And that's why I warn you all the time not to be sucked into those cults of personality is what it is. Oh, I like this person because they're so honest and they speak their mind. And, I'm sorry, I don't think I've actually interrupted or split a word into with the word fuck yet. Absolutely. I like to talk about emotions. I like to talk about relationships. I like to talk about love and empathy because I want to encourage us all to be those people, to be the light in the dark world. A lot of people deny God. A lot of people deny that there's anything spiritual at all. They don't believe in the paranormal. They don't believe in the supernatural. They don't believe in the spiritual. They think it is what it is. We're here, blah. But science and psychology, they deny the spiritual nature of everyone, and we are all spiritual beings wearing meat suits. So all those emotions that get hurt, all those fears that we have, all the worries that we have, limited characters for type comments, truly for the birds. Exactly. Hi, Peach. How are you, sweetheart? Like I said, deep minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. And vile minds discuss bodily functions and sexual things. Yeah, because emotions are an ocean. I don't think anybody's ever going to truly understand it. Any of them. Not going to understand psychology or how the brain works. My God, we're just a mass of energy. Doctors don't understand how the body works. Kind of got an idea. They're a little bit better than putting leeches on us or, bleeding us out. But doctors still don't understand how the body heals, how the body regenerates. They don't know. And what I'm trying to do with all these stupid crap things that I talk about is I'm trying to get anybody within the sound of my voice, if it's just one person, if it's even part of a day, to stop and think and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you weren't here earlier, I was thinking a lot of this stuff is just in the gutter. So it can't go any lower. It's just in the gutter. And then, this voice in my heart said, yeah, I can go lower. It can go into the storm drain where Pennywise lives, the it clown. Hi, Cash. Change your avatar. People said your last one looked like a nipple. Okay. Okay, so does this one, Cash, but that's okay. So many are resistant to promoting holistic healthcare. Exactly, Peach. I mean, I've been looking into that. Right now I can't afford most holistic things, which is kind of counterintuitive. I don't have my own garden, kind of thing. So anything I could get holistically, and of course, those allopathic doctors are not covered by insurance. It's your dog eye. Okay, it still looks like a nipple. All right. Might be a dog eye, looks like a nipple. That's all I have to say. But anyway, so, if science and psychology and most people deny the spiritual portion of us, then they're not going to understand emotions. They're just going to run off, the hip. They're just going to blather. Whatever comes to their mind is going to come out of their tongue, and they're either going to discuss ideas, events, or people. Thank you, Nightbot. I appreciate it. Because emotions are deep. They're an ocean. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. And I think that, quote, being vulnerable, like Dr. John Matthias and the greatest answer he was going to give before he was interrupted, throws his glasses. He was going to be vulnerable. He was going to be emotional. People can't handle it. Honestly, that kind of thing, I think that's shallow. I think that's shallow. I had a closeness with 3 of you in specific in this very chat. I've also fallen short and felt deeply that I owed you an apology. For the record, please, each of you know I remain apologetic. Sweetheart, the great thing about love, agape, love covers a multitude of sins. When you get to know somebody and you trust them, you open your heart to them, and you know that they might be an asshole or a bitch right now, or they may have done something that was so boneheaded, stupid, you just want to strangle them. But down deep, the motivation was not malicious. It wasn't specifically to hurt. And that's what I see so many places, is that, you review me and I review that, and then I'm going to review you, reviewing them, reviewing her, kind of thing. Okay, so Yaya can see the dog eye. Okay, fine. It just gets to the point where it's meant to hurt. And then we go one step further and we start involving ourselves into people's personal lives. Whether it's calling CPS, calling the health department, calling a school, calling a job, trying to and mess with somebody's real life, when this is the internet. This is the internet. Y'all freaking behind avatars, keyboard warriors. Stop it. Stop it. Be sovereign over yourselves. Have some self-discipline to restrain yourself. You don't have to do and say everything that crosses your tiny pea brains. And maybe stop and think about what you're doing and how that's going to affect your community, your family, society as a whole. I blame, if it feels good, you should. Remember those things? If it feels good, you should. When it became the me generation, now everybody is so concerned about themselves, they don't give a fuck about anybody else. We have to stop that. We have to care about other people. There's going to come a time in everyone's life when you need somebody, or somebody's going to need you. And you need to be sovereign within yourself. But it seems to be getting worse over the past year. The world in general, Yaya. The world in general is getting worse. And you know why? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again 100,000 times, that we are spiritual beings in meat suits. We are spiritual beings having an experience here in meat suits. And in the spiritual realm, whether you believe it or not, there's good forces and there's evil forces, and spiritual warfare is real. Because we stopped caring. Cash, I think it's because people care too much for themselves. And what I see is that there's such a separation of heart to heart. There's such a separation of human to human. And this isn't, I mean, this started pre-internet, okay? Smartphones. I almost said fart smones. Give the word fart. I'm 12, okay? I laugh. Fart. So it's not just because of the internet and smartphones. It's made it worse. But people stopped caring about other people. They just care about themselves. And I see a lot of that has been brought on by healing. I'm going to say it snarky. Healing. You know, people have trauma and they're healing. And so they focus on themselves and they're healing. And, you know, it's like so many people are just in survival mode. It's like if all of us here in this chat were thrown off the side of the Titanic, and some of us are in a lifeboat, some of us are splashing around in our life vest, some of us are on the door, and yes, there was room on the door for Jack, Rose, you know, but everybody is trying to survive somehow. And when you get into that mindset, it's easy to forget about others. There's a story from the Titanic about, you know, the unsinkable Molly Brown. Well, she was in a lifeboat, and don't quote me on this, but the lifeboats were meant to hold like maybe 40 people each. And they had like less than 20 on hers. And they were rowing away from the Titanic because they knew that it was going down, and the wake of it going down, it was going to suck everything with it. So they're trying to get away from the boat. And she realized their boat was less than half full. And she was telling the crew, please turn around. Please turn around so we can scoop up some of these people that are splashing around in the water. And of course, the crew said, no, that's too dangerous. You know, we'll be sucked under too. So while we're struggling to survive, while we're healing through our trauma, while we're doing all this stuff, let's remember that there are other people out there that are having just as bad of a time, that are experiencing the same emotions, that are experiencing the same offenses, that are experiencing the same disappointment and sadness at seeing all the hate. No, the old Titanic. There's not a new one. The analogy did work. Shut up, rabbit raisin. You know, and the thing is that's where our spiritual warfare comes in. Good versus evil. Your grand has a fixation on Titanic. Oh, yeah, it's true about the unsinkable. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I saw a documentary about that. But in a squirrel, crap. I was talking about spiritual warfare. It's like that analogy I tell you guys all the time. There's a black dog and a white dog inside of me, and they're fighting all the time. And the hatred and the anger and the frustration and the F all you people. I'm out for me and mine. And then there's the white dog that's that's kind and loving, but they're fighting each other all the time in this spiritual warfare. So which one wins? Which one wins? The one that you feed. The one that you feed. Yes. Watership Down. Do I still have that in here? Probably not. Probably not. I get rid of that. No, I didn't. I had the Watership Down bunny with the blood on its fangs. All of that, because sometimes I feel that way. But I want to encourage you guys to be careful what you put in your heart and your mind. It's easy to get caught up in that stream of making fun of somebody or putting other people down or saying bad things, or even I saw in another chat that so-and-so said this. Easy to be caught up in that. But I want you guys to be aware of what's happening in the Gramma, to be aware of what's happening even on the political realm, in our government, in what's happening around us. Because it seems like everything is set out to divide us against them. And it's not us against them. Geopolitics indeed. Yeah. So when you're listening to somebody, it sounds good. They're saying all the right things. They're saying things about children. You need to protect the children. But then maybe 15 minutes later, they're talking about somebody's child in a derogatory way. I want you to be aware of that. I want you to be aware of the emotional keywords, the trigger words. Here in this sector, it's victims and families. We're here for the victims and the families. Okay? Do you ever think about all the shit that you're talking about other people, other creators, pointing out weaknesses or pointing out flaws or something along that line? Maybe you're creating a victim, and then you get clapped back. Somebody points out the fact that that's hypocrisy, and then you get hurt and you're the victim now. So we're talking about victims and families. Victims and families. Watch out for the emotional keywords. In politics and in the news, the keywords are safety and security. Peace, safety, and security. The Bible has a scripture that says, at the end times, they'll be all saying, hey, peace and security, and then sudden destruction will come. So I want you guys to live with your eyes open and your hearts open. I believe people can change and change for the better. But you know how you can tell? Their actions. If they don't do the same thing over and over again. You can tell by a person's actions how much they've changed. You can tell me all day long what a wonderful, kind, caring person you are, how much you love and protect your friends. But when you talk shit about other people, I know that I'm just a hairbreadth away from being that target, from no longer being your friend that you protect, that you care for. One hairbreadth away. What is the new saying we have now? Mad day. So when mad day comes, when you're a child, you have innocence and magic and hope. Some do not. Never be the bystander and always look out for any more vulnerable than you are. Yes. Well, Cash says Yazin. But yeah, look out for someone more vulnerable than you. Some of us are just, a bunch of emotional scabs. Do you realize how many chats I've been in the last week where someone has somebody that's in the hospital, a loved one's in the hospital and dying or having surgery, or they've lost their animals, or I could name out names. People that are going through stuff, that are sitting in these chats just wanting to be with somebody. I know, Oki, that's what I love about you. Just wanting to be with some people. Just wanting to get their mind off of the real life scariness for a while. And this isn't popular. Our talks like this aren't popular. But I appreciate every single one of you that come in here. Right. You never know what somebody is going through. I don't know what our purpose in life is. Dang, if I knew, I'd write a book and, sell it to Netflix and go on a speaking tour. And, I'd be like a multimillionaire. Hi, Nye. Love you, buddy. But all y'all come in here, my honey bunnies. My honey bunnies, come in here. Because I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. What we're trying to share and encourage each other with. And that, there's an emoji here that's dedicated to Bella. And it says kindness is free. I think that's the one. Yeah, because the blue one is I love my mods. Right? Yeah, that's mod love. What is the point of life? You found out when you die. Until then, you are immortal. Yeah. There it is, Bella. Your kindness is free, heart. The funny thing is, oh my God. Some of these YouTube people that we talk about, that we kind of hang out in our neighborhood, right? The YouTube streets. They have to come live once, twice, 3 times a day. because, and I see this, and I've actually heard this from them, where they say, oh, this just went down, and I know that you guys want my opinion on it. I got to speak on this. I heard this, and I had to go live because they have to give you their opinion. How conceited is that? How arrogant is that? And they do well. They're probably racking in $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month from YouTube. That's fine. I'm not that person. If I pay for StreamYard in my Canva, I'm happy. As I'm grifting, a Nightbot drops my I wonder if that even works anymore. That link. I guess it does. I don't know. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I do appreciate you being here. Joneson is having a community meeting with Dietz, which I'm sure everybody would love to. Oh, it's Dietz's fault again. Hang on. I might be able to redirect you. I don't know. Let me see. I'll send you over to Joneson. This is new for me. I'm being all techno weird. One moment, please. Not what I'm looking at. Okay, fine. Redirect. Here we go. No, that's not it. At a live stream for people to watch after yours ends. Right? It's just giving me videos. Oh. Needed. Oh, okay. I can't redirect to Joneson because she has not given me permission to do so. So here's the link to Joneson. You guys go over there. I love you. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. And I'm not even going to play my outro. And I have my okay, Cash. I could have redirected it, but I don't have permission from Joneson to redirect. Thank you very much. Go over there. I'll see you later. Bye.